So just to continue on the whole idea of the tenants. So when you're first starting off and you got your 2-flat, you've closed, you got the keys, you're ready to move in. And so then now you got to lease up this apartment, right? So this is the part that scares a lot of people because you got to deal with somebody that's going to be willing to rent that apartment. And there's several things that you need to do. Of course, you want to do a background check. And there's services that you can pay out there that will give you some, compile some public records to see if there's any kind of criminal records or anything like this. But outside of that, you just want to do income verification with a check stub. And typically I go for people that usually require them to have at least 1 year on a job. And this is the thing that people don't understand. It's like if people are renting, you know, they're going to have some challenges. So you can't expect everybody to have perfect credit, been in a job for 10 years. You can't have your criteria too high. Now this is for market tenants. But what I want to talk about on this video is subsidized tenants. So when I say subsidy, I'm talking about government subsidies that will pay market rent for your tenant. And the rent check is basically guaranteed. So in terms of subsidies, I'm talking about U.S. government subsidies. Now, I've involved, without giving too much, personal information. I've been involved with subsidies for more than 10 years. And what scares a lot of people is the whole idea of a tenant and them paying their rent or not paying their rent. So this is what frightens a lot of people. But when you get a government subsidy, your rent is guaranteed for the years. Typically, you get a 1-year contract. And this is if you have a individual person, may have what they call a voucher. They get a 1-year contract, and the government will pay the rent for the full year. And typically they either set it up where they get a paper check they mail to you, or you could have it electronically deposited into your account. So, most beginners, novice investors, they frown upon this because they don't want to do the paperwork. They want to go through the inspection. But once you get good at it, it's a really good program. I mean, out of 10 years I've been doing it, I probably have maybe 1 or 2 bad experiences. But once you get past an inspection and you kind of learn what they look for and learn, and really it's really just basically making sure that everything works in the building to their satisfaction. And everything, in a way I could say everything has to be perfect, but a perfect working condition. Things don't have to be new, they just have to work. So if you can accomplish this, wow, you'll have a great advantage because, you can get guaranteed rent. So I like to use the term float. So that's when, you can buy time to do something else. So if you got a small building and this is really a beautiful veranda I'm sitting on out here, downtown. So I hope you guys enjoy the scenery. But yes, so once you get good at this, and I would advise you to find a place that's near or within the metropolitan area, because that's where most of your renters are going to be. So this is the whole idea. You're trying to make it, and you got to have stepping stones. You got to crawl before you walk. So like they say, the saying goes, you got to crawl before you walk. So if you really want to build wealth, these are things that you got to do. So if you want to have a place and you want to live rent-free, then you got to look for a place that's going to be conducive to other renters. And this is pretty much what you have to do. Now you're going to live there, I would say, a year or 2 until you get rolling, until you get some momentum. So by the 2nd or 3rd year, you should be on your 2nd or 3rd property. If you do 1 a year, you can basically become a millionaire in less than 10 years. And that's just by buying houses or 2-flats. We're going to get into some larger deals on some other videos, but this is really just for the beginner. And I want to give you this information so that you can understand what the possibilities are. So I'm going to end the video, and we'll talk more about the whole idea of using government subsidies to secure your rent payments. It's a great way to start, and I've done it numerous times. And for the most part, it's not what a lot of people think. I could bust all the myths behind this. The people really want to take care of their place because they don't want to lose their subsidy. and your rent check is basically guaranteed for the year. Then when the year rolls around, they probably want to renew it. You just go through the inspection phase and make sure everything works properly, and you can renew it. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope this information was helpful, and I'll have a lot more content on leasing up and managing your 2-flat property on later videos. So thanks a lot for tuning in to Sensible Mind, and subscribe. Thanks a lot. See you guys.